Well, welcome to an interesting episode of the Story Engine. You'll notice that my voice does not sound it doesn't sound anything like Kyle Gray. Kyle Gray, you're in the interview chair today. Welcome.
Josh, thanks so much for taking me through this process, for also being a part of this podcast and the upgrading of what we're doing in our vision. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we absolutely love great conversations with amazing guests. And Kyle, that's your show. In fact, the subtitle I think, our friend has probably seen is Conversations with Founders Who Connect and Convert Through Authentic Storytelling. So talk about a great podcast to listen to. Now, full disclosure, I've been a guest on your show. You've been a guest on my show. We've had the opportunity to do some great things together. I am not only a client of yours, I am an evangelist for your work. We'll talk about that just a little bit, but it truly is an honor to have this conversation with you, Kyle. So what I'd really like to do is just kind of, use this episode as a bit of, for someone that, maybe they haven't been listening for a while. This episode really is a little bit of a movie trailer, especially from this point moving forward, regarding the format of this show. And so with that, Kyle, I'd really love, in your words, kind of maybe have you describe what is the Story Engine, the podcast. By the way, as I pointed out, your personal website or your website for your company is thestoryengine.co. Also happens to be the name of your company. But what is the Story Engine, the podcast?
The Story Engine, the podcast, is a long time labor of love. And I love being able to share my gifts and my talents with my community. And it's meant to show the world, not tell the world, specifically show the world the power of storytelling and how simple a few changes in who you are, how you're showing up in your story, in your message, and your teaching can make a dramatic difference. And so I've created this show to help founders, change makers, coaches, and experts tell better stories. We create stories live on the podcast that they can start to use to share their message better. And so it's a gift to the audience, because what I want the audience to feel every time a guest comes on is like, wow, what kind of story is this, or are we going to draw out of this person today? And then the guests, what really lights me up is seeing the reactions of all of my guests after they get a story crafted, personalized for them. It's their message, it's their idea, and it's just put within great storytelling frameworks.
It's a really unique opportunity. So, to our friend that's listening that might actually know someone to be a great guest, or they might want to throw their hat in the ring as well. I want to assure you, boy, what an amazing experience, Kyle. Just in our conversation together, obviously I shared my story, and I don't know what episode it is, but if you want to go back and search for the Josh Elledge episode, you're welcome to. But you'll hear, Kyle. Again, you're kind of what I like to refer to as kind of a master story crafter. And that's going to lead into my next question. And that is, why is story so critical for founders, leaders, anyone who's looking to make impact in the world? And it could be with a small team. It could be with an audience. It could be, on social media, right? But why invest time and effort into the art of storytelling when there's so many other things that are demanding our attention? Like, I should be spending all my time learning AI, and I should be spending all my time doing this and all of that. Why do we prioritize story and storytelling?
It's a great question. And if anybody's listening to this show, it's likely that you've already spent a lot of time learning how to solve a particular problem for a particular person, and you are maybe one of the best in the world at that. And as such, you're probably very passionate about what you do, and you get up on stage and you get on podcasts and you feel great sharing all of the ideas, how to solve the problem, sharing everything about your world that excites you. And then even though it feels great for you to say it and share it, you just don't get quite the response from your audience or your listeners that you're looking for. And storytelling is the tool to bridge the gap Storytelling is the tool to take that excitement that you feel in your heart and chest when you're lit up about the brilliant work that you do and offer that same excitement and inspiration and enrollment to the person that you're listening to. Now, a lot of us as experts, as a result of becoming the brilliant people that we are, we actually get worse at storytelling because we can't quite relate to our own
Fascinating.
stories and our own ideas and our own teaching perfectly. We have a lot of judgments and emotions and ideas around what's important for us to share. And so I find that despite being an expert and a problem solver, we have a hard time really communicating that in a way that gets results. And so storytelling simplifies what you have to say, it guides what you need to say. And I think the most important part of it is it's actually an act of listening. When you know how to tell great stories, you listen to your audience, you listen to the people that you're speaking to find the right ideas. When you're not a great storyteller, you're constantly in your own head thinking, what thing should I say next? What's this thing? What's this thing? And we're not very present. So
Yeah.
when we can lean in and listen and then share a story that reflects what our client needs, that's what creates trust. No amount of AI prompting is going to be able to do that for you.
Right.
No amount of great systems or automations or posting 10,000 things on YouTube is going to have a bigger impact than you being able to meet your ideal clients where they are in their language
Mm.
with your story.
Every marketer knows this, who works with clients, and they look at, I think, existing websites. They see this where, and again, it's why most of us are not very good at doing our own marketing because we're inside the bottle. Like you can't read the label, right? And so we lose sense. I think you pointed that out quite brilliantly. And storytelling that absolutely tracks for me. Kyle, let's talk about this show because our friend that's listening might be a great guest potentially. They might know somebody, maybe a colleague. They're, oh man, who needs to be on this show would be so and so. What are the like? Who makes a really great guest for this show for the Story Engine?
What a great question. I'm looking for experts who are great at what they do. They have a proven track record at getting results and deep experience serving the people that they serve. But for one reason or another, they may feel like when they speak, when they share what they're doing, it's just not performing at the level that they want it to. And the beauty of this podcast is we get to give you an experience that you can walk away with, that you can have. You can have a story crafted for you. I oftentimes send my guests the recording of the episode as well so they can take and practice the story that we've crafted together and put it into action right away. And so, somebody who's looking to share their message on more stages, on more podcasts, on more webinars, and get dramatically better results anytime and any place they share their story.
And so that process for somebody, and by the way, I mean, I appreciate kind of the experience. What are they doing? Like, what are they doing business wise, or like, how might they know? Like, what are their values? What do they like? I'm just trying to think of like to our friend that's listening, like, to kind of jog their memory of like who they know might be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
What might they look for? Because they might
Yeah.
not know who would like or not like the experience, but they know someone who, has maybe
Yeah.
the traits you're looking for.
The people who can benefit from this the most are selling high ticket products and services, usually over $1,000, sometimes more. So that's one important thing. The next thing is your business is established. You might not be a stranger to speaking or podcasting at all. You might be doing it a lot and want a little bit of a tune up. You might be going through a new launch or you've got a speaking event coming up
Hey Kyle,
or
I'm going to start over on this question because okay, so the way I'd love for you to answer this is who makes the ideal client. And just know that the application is going to do a lot of the filtering. I want to set a broad net. I definitely don't want to use the answer to that the first time I asked it, because I don't want them thinking about the minutia. Because
Right.
honestly, that scares me the way that you explain that. Like, I don't want to be workshopped on a podcast. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that language. So the way I would do this, I'm going to ask you the question again, like who would make a great guest, and say, well, they recognize, like, they have become a bit of a center of influence, and they have a lot of expertise. They're very good at what they do. People generally want to hear more from them, and they recognize that their words matter. So, it's a high level leader, listen, probably doing okay in business, right? They've been doing this. They probably, if you were to engage them, their time would be worth a fair amount per hour, kind of thing,
Hmm.
right? To engage them would be, relatively valuable. But again, most importantly, is they're the kind of people that know that they are in a position where, in addition with being the CEO, they might be a bit of a chief evangelist or something like that. They want to make change and influence in the world. And the only way to do that, and they know this, is with their words. I would answer it like that. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
re-ask that question. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a countdown and a clap so they see it. So Kyle, our friend who's listening probably knows someone that would make a really great guest for this show. And like, how would you describe, like, if, someone just trying to jog someone's memory, like, oh, it would be a really great guest would be so and so. Like, what would be those telltale signs that they are the perfect guest for the story engine?
First of all, they're experts. They're great at what they do. They know what they're doing, and they're probably paid very well for what they do. And deep down inside, there's a yearning and there's a knowing that their words, how they communicate and how much they communicate, is one of the biggest needle movers for their business. They want to share who they are as well as what they do and what they're brilliant at in a way that's going to attract people. These are usually people that want to make the world better. They're not just trying to make a quick buck. They really value making an impact and making the world better, and are carrying out a business that is fulfilling an ambitious vision for what they do. And by channeling that vision into a story, they're going to succeed more, faster, and better.
I love that. I love that. So, to our friend that's listening, someone whose words matter, right? Like, the quality of their content is really important. Yes, that's exactly who we're after. Kyle, the process for that, by the way, really simple. If someone listening knows, here's what you do. You just go to thestoryengine.co. So thestoryengine.co. Then you click on podcast, and you'll see a link for podcast guest application. You just click there and take it from there. And Kyle, I'm excited to hear those stories. And kind of the last question is just about you, the work you do with your clients. What are the outcomes you help create?
Well, what we get to experience on the podcast is like a small little preview of the results that I create for my clients. I use the same process to interview and draw the stories and ideas and teaching out of you through great questions, and then reflect back the stories, the teaching points, and how to put all of your brilliance together in a way that's going to get results. My clients usually end up increasing their conversions, sometimes 2 or 3 times higher than when they were before they were working with me, because they have simple stories that allow them to strategically move their audience from listener to lead to client. And the beauty about this is it's very easy, whether you're a podcast guest or a client of mine. I'm just going to ask you questions, and you get to sit back and relax and enjoy yourself while we're creating great stories, great teaching, and great signature talks together.
I love it. All right, Kyle Gray, thestoryengine.co. Click on podcasts. Of course, to our listener, that's where all of the podcast resources and links are as well. And including, you've got, plenty of, resources on your website too for those people who are interested in the art of storytelling and just what that can mean. And by the way, I neglected to say, Kyle, you're also a best-selling author. The Story Engine is the name of the book. I like it. Brand consistency. So, Kyle, listen, thank you for allowing me to kind of warm up the interview chair for you. We'll go ahead and switch places. Now, I'm actually going to go out in the peanut gallery now and listen to more amazing stories with your guests. But congratulations, and can't wait to listen to the next conversations ahead.
Thanks so much, Josh. And thanks everybody for listening in. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the Story Engine podcast.